All right, welcome back to Theendstep.com. It's Adam here. We're on Modern this week, and I'm playing robots. Pretty standard list, but I'm a little more burn heavy than traditional. I am running Shrapnel Blast over the 4 max Thoughtcasts. I just like the burn to close out games because sometimes you just need that extra points of damage, and the burn will get you there. Whereas, if you cast a Thoughtcast in a board state where they stabilize, it's not going to do you any good if you have, you draw in a couple more artifact guys. But if you have some reach, and now you have just Galvanic Blast alone is 16 points of reach. It's it's a ton of reach, and it clears out problematic creatures. And I personally like the burn version better. It's a minor switch, and the core of the deck is basically the same. I'm not maxed out on Arcbound Ravagers. I have more as champions, but the rest is pretty standard. So if you've never seen this deck before, it's just a super cheap artifact aggressive creature-based deck. 0, 1s, and 2s are your main guys, and then you top out at 3 with Edge Champion. And Edge Champion, when he's got Metalcraft, is basically unkillable. They have to kill all your other guys first, all your other artifacts, and then they can deal with him later. When you put a plating on him, it's just like a huge clock that they can't deal with, and they'll just be dead by the time it's an issue. Obviously, the sideboard hate that people have for this deck is very good, but the nice thing is the artifact lands, because we can run 8-man lands, allow us to get past that hate, because they can still get in there for continuous damage. This is the best card in the deck by far, is Cranial Plating. It just makes all your threats insane, makes them huge clocks. It's definitely like the key card. So much so that I'm running a Steel Shaper's Gift as the 5th copy, basically, just so I can always have one and always make sure I can get one. And then the pseudo other lands, because it's only 16 lands, but Springleaf Drum and the Moxes are basically additional lands. The difference is they turn on Metalcraft and they count towards your Cranial Plating, which you're already running the max number of artifact lands you're allowed because the regular ones are banned, the colored ones are banned, so you can only run the Darksteel Citadel, and 3 Glimmer Voids for your colored mana, the 1 mountain because we're mainly red. We do have 1 Thoughtcast, but we have Glimmer Void, Springleaf Drum, and Mox to cast any color, and you'll see the other colors being used in the sideboard, which is kind of nice. This deck has access to all colors readily, and you can have all kinds of cool sideboard tech. That's about it for the main deck. We'll pause and come back for the sideboard. Alright, here we are for the sideboard for robots. Already you can see I have black, blue, and red cards in the sideboard, so that multicolored mana and Moxes coming in handily. We'll just run them through quick. Torpor Orb is basically your Melirapod and Kikipod turn off. It's very good against them. Granted, they have artifact hate, and they'll be bringing in because you're an artifact deck anyways, but it can just buy you a few turns, and that's generally all you need. Blood Moon is any deck that is like really heavily into multiple colors, so like Jund, especially the one that runs 4 colors. Very good against the Tron deck as well. Granted, it does shut off all your man lands, but the fact that you can just beat down with a bunch of artifacts and they can cast any Wormcoil Engines or Karn or anything like that is huge. Spellskite mainly against Splinter Twin, and then again very good against Jund too, with a deck with like a lot of spot removal. He comes in and he does a great job, and you can actually pay blue mana, so you don't have to actually kill yourself with Spellskite. He can attack, which a lot of people forget that he doesn't have Defender just because he's an 0-4, so he can pick up a plating quite nicely. Thoughtseize and Spell Pierce are basically your cards against combo decks and the control decks. It's just like the best cards you have available. They're cheap. You don't have to waste a whole turn doing them. You can still play a guy, equip a plating, and then leave up 1 mana, and then you can, Spell Pierce a key play or something like that. Ancient Grudge is the best card in the mirror match because you don't want any kind of like artifact sweeper, because obviously you're going to kill yourself, but Ancient Grudge, you can cast both halves pretty easily, and basically you're trying to either get their platings or their man lands. Those are the cards you're trying to hit mainly. And then Whip Flare is your anti-Lingering Souls card. It's the best card against that card. It just gets them out of the way. A lot of people play Lingering Souls because it's so good against this deck, but Whip Flare just answers that quite nicely. And a lot of people I've seen like a sort of War and Peace started to be played in robots, and again, it's the same reason. You're just getting past Lingering Souls. It's definitely worth trying. It's just like a little bit expensive for this deck to cast and equip in the same turn. That's generally where you like to be like, play a plating and equip, and you really can't do that with the sword. 5 mana is a lot for this deck to handle. But consideration if it continues to be a problem. Thanks for watching.